Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show, Red Pill Edition, live from Salamone Lake here in Andrews, Indiana. And what I'm going to talk about today is part 4. Is family overrated and dysfunctional? Now, I believe this video is important because it starts with children. Now, I have children myself, they're all grown. And a big question that I always ask is this. When it comes to children, they ask a lot these days of their parents. However, it's not the children's fault. I believe that it is the parents' fault because the parents enable the children to do whatever they want to do so they can get the children to like them. It is nothing wrong with loving your children. However, children these days are very ungrateful, spoiled. They think they know everything. But children today, one thing that parents aren't doing for children, they're not teaching them the basics of life. Yes, they'll give children materials that they want. But how many children out here don't know history? They don't know government. They don't know economics. They don't know how to cook. Now, we blame the school system for all of this, but what about the parents? See, a number of children, and this is across the board, this isn't just in the poorer areas. Because you have a number of children who live in the suburban areas. Guess what? They're still living at home. But when it comes to children, when they get to a certain age, and what if they have children? Well, it's funny how these grown children, when they have children, they expect their parents to be a free daycare for them. But what about the other way around? When a parent asks something of a child to do regular chores, to clean their room, basic responsibilities, do you know that some children require their parents to pay them? Now, it's funny because when children get a certain age, and I'm talking about age of maturity where they're living in a house, number of children believe that they can be an adult when it comes to entertainment, but they can live free when it comes to their folks. Now, a lot of children today have the failure to launch syndrome. But again, parents don't teach children the basics of life. How many children out here, and you'll see this when you go to, let's say, a Wendy's, they don't know how to make change. And I'm going to give you an example of this. I had a pizza delivered to my house. And for shits and giggles, I wanted to do this to see how smart the kid was. Well, the pizza came up to $10.95. So what I did was I gave the pizza man $20.95. That young kid didn't even know how much money to give me back. And then had other incidents where I ordered something and I said, give me the change of 5 and 5 1 so you'll have a tip. Some of them didn't know how to do that. And these are very bright kids who come from well-to-do families. But you have to ask yourself, if family is that great, how come families don't teach kids responsibilities? And I'm talking about the adults. I mean, today, these kids, all they know is fast food. They know the computer. They know the cell phone. I mean, you look at a number of these kids in the single digits having iPhones. That's incredible. And they're on their parents' bill. And these parents are rewarding kids for doing what they're supposed to do. And what parents are doing to kids today, they are teaching them how to be entitled. A number of kids today, they're overweight. They don't exercise. And if you look at a number of kids when it comes to health, some of them are going to die early. They're going to die to some cardiovascular disease. They're going to have diabetes. They're going to have strokes because they don't eat right. A number of them are going to be terrible husbands and terrible wives because they weren't taught by their parents how to have relationships. And a number of these kids, they'll have a relationship with their parents as long as the parents are giving them their way. But a number of these kids don't appreciate their parents. A number of these kids don't respect their parents. You have a number of kids who believe they're running the household. And when it comes to dating, if you are a man and you're dating a woman who has children that are disrespecting the mom, the children think they can disrespect you. And at the end of the day, what you need to do, that kid, if he disrespects you, you fuck him up. The mom can't take care of her kid. You handle it. Or you let the police handle it. Because again, there are a number of parents out here who shouldn't be having kids. But they have kids for what? Recreation. Many of them don't even take care of them. They put them in daycare. And they think paying everything for a kid, that kid's going to love them. No, that kid's going to be entitled. But you have a lot of parents who aren't educated themselves when it comes to common sense and life. You have a number of kids out here who are on Ritalin. They're ADHD. Some of them are depressed. And a number of these kids have a low self-esteem. This is why you had the individuals like the Elliot Rodgers out here. Because these individuals, they weren't raised properly. They were raised good, but not properly. Now, there are occasions, and I'm going to put the exception to the rule in there, to where children come from bad environments and turn out good. And there are cases where children come from good environments and turn out bad. Those are exceptions to the rule. But when it comes to family, with all this dysfunction going on, does that make family overrated? In some aspects, it does. Because you can have a lot of family members, but if the family members aren't giving the family members behind them any guidance, because the family members who should be given the guidance, who should be elders, they didn't get it from their elders. But the job of an elder is to give the individuals behind you some guidance, But when you don't have any guidance yourself, you can't properly parent your children. And this is why a number of parents want to be friends to their kids. And that's all bullshit if you can't spank your kid. There's ways to do it and you don't leave marks. You don't have to beat them to death. You can punish your kid. Now, of course, there have been some incidents to where some kids came back when they didn't get what they wanted and killed their parents. I mentioned it in some past videos. But I was talking to a sister one time. And she had her grown children living at home. And she told me her friends got upset with her because she made her grown children pay while they were living at home. And I just told her, fuck those friends. They're not your friends because they're allowing their children to run over them. You're doing the right thing. I mean, if you're a parent, for the most part, your children are eating your food and they're not replacing your food. They're using your washer and dryer. They're using your shower. They're turning on your cable and using your cable. Hell, some of them even got animals that the mom is taking care of. And heck, some of them have children that the mom and grandmother are taking care of. So some of these family members have become a free daycare to some of these children. And at the end of the day, what I just mentioned is you got a lot of children who aren't responsible. And they believe they don't have to be responsible because it's the parents' job to take care of the children from what we call cradle to grave. We also know that when it comes to individuals on the left who believe in big government. And government should take care of you cradle to grave. And this is why you have a number of children who have no discipline. They disrespect authority. They have no concept in cooking, finance. So a number of them don't even know how to write a check. And also a number of children today, because of the school system, they don't even teach cursive anymore. Many of them just type their name on a dotted line. Cursive is very important because when you can write, well, cursive distinguishes your signature from the next person's signature. But again, you have parents who aren't involved with teaching their children. And even when they get grown, if they have advice, like, okay, I have daughters and a son. If they need my suggestion about something, I'll give them my suggestion. Now, I'm not going to give them the answer. In other words, I'm not going to do the work by giving them the answer because they're not going to learn anything. What I'll simply do is tell them where to find it. Because you're better off knowing where to find the answer to a problem, because I could perish one day. But at the end of the day, when it comes to a number of these families out here, they are overrated. They are dysfunctional. They walk around acting happy. They act like they get along with each other. Heck, you got families who have members that hate each other. They've always had sibling rivalries, jealousy. Everybody's family is not like my big fat Greek wedding, and our family would never be like my big fat Greek wedding, because you got individuals that can't stay out of each other's businesses. Now, again, I want everybody to know that I am not against family. Family can be good. if family knows its place. And when it comes to a relationship, a family's place is not to get involved with the relationship that the son and the daughter has. Why? Because the son and the daughter, they're trying to build their own life. But if the son and the daughter are too weak to keep their family members out of their business, their relationship is not going to work. But going back to the children again, a number of these children, we criticize them for not being responsible, but it's the parents who didn't teach responsibility. Now, when it comes to education with these kids, I would get rid of all the bullshit that they put in these curriculums and start putting real information in there that you're going to have to utilize in real life, like finance, cooking, maybe some industrial arts. Some of those items. Should take a government class. Should take a U.S. history class. You should understand what's going on around you instead of this touchy-feely stuff about LGBTQ and gender studies. All that bullshit that you hear in high school and college, all it does is brainwash children. And children believe it. And when you have adults outside your parents, these other adults, they're preying on your children. And they're preying on your children by indoctrinating them through religion, corporate sector jobs, government, the welfare state, media, and of course, education. These are the areas where you have people who are very satanic. These are the people who are against families. And a strong family to protect your children needs to come up against those people. Because your real enemy, when it comes to your family, is some of your family members. Again, you can find a dysfunction in your own family, and the same dysfunction that you find in your family, you're going to find from people outside of your family. And when it comes to having a relationship, once you discover it in your family, you see it with a potential mate, you'll know exactly what to do. You don't go in that situation. And you got too many family members who are very jealous of one another. Again, this is why you don't tell your family anything. Would you tell your family again if you won the lottery? I wouldn't. Would you tell your family if you got a raise? And I can tell you how family ain't shit sometimes. There was this reality show on with the R&B singer Fantasia. She was making all the money and she had nothing but lazy family members in the house living off of her. And no one did anything about it. Why? Because they didn't care to do anything about it. And if somebody had called these family members out, and I'm talking about Fantasia's family members, there would have been a number of individuals who would be complaining that, well, that family member isn't doing anything, minding his own business, minding her own business. No, you're living off the fat of the lamb. You're living off of somebody. But this has been happening since the 2000s. Again, this is why I caution anybody when they're going online and they're dating, and you see an individual who tells you, I love my family so much, my family's first, don't go out with that person. I mean, I love my family, but I will never put my family's love above the one I'm sleeping with. Because the one I'm sleeping with is my true family. My extended family is my family, but I don't utilize my family to run back to when I have an issue with my nuclear family. Now, the reason why a number of these families are dysfunctional, because you have a lot of feminists out here and soy boys out here and liberals out here and communists and socialists who despise family. Why? Because in actuality, family is a threat to the welfare state. You see, one thing I will tell you about the socialists, the communists, the Marxists on the left, when it comes to family, they get paid off of dysfunction. Divorce is an industry. Child support is an industry. You have individuals who don't want to create anything but hysteria. And that's what the left does. And a lot of us who are misinformed believe everything that the left says. Now, I'm not saying the right's any better either, because the right comes up with their self-righteous attitude themselves, especially the religious right, the Bible thumpers. They're no better than the ones on the left. See, what you have to do to keep your family away from dysfunction, and I'm talking about your nuclear family right now, is you can't let your nuclear family get together with everybody in your extended family. Because basically when it comes to family members, you have a number of them who want to ride the tails of the successful family members. And this is where all the jealousy takes place. This is why I tell individuals, everything that comes out of your family isn't always right. You have to seek it for yourself. And at the end of the day, when it comes to you being an individual, particularly a man, it's always best to be a Sigma male. Walk solo. Because if you walk solo, you can discover who you are. And see, a Sigma male doesn't need validation from a lot of people. And this is why a number of individuals who are women put in their profiles about how much they love their family and their kids, are their life, their kids are their world. It's because they look for validation. They have a very low self-esteem of themselves. And when it comes to a number of women, they won't take any validation from the one who they're loving. It's supposed to be their man. No, they will believe their family. This is why they'll go run back to their family when there's a problem. Because, again, family doesn't always teach problem-solving skills. Number of family doesn't tell the truth. Number of family members, they love drama themselves, particularly the female family members, because drama gets their adrenaline flowing. And if you don't believe me, with the holidays coming up, I can tell you many times, even with my own family, individuals got to fighting. This is why I don't even like going to visit family members all the time. They get together, they get to drinking. When people get to drinking, the truth comes out. When you get to fighting, yelling and screaming, and half of them don't even know what they're fighting about. It's 2019. You'll be fighting about something that happened in 1989. That's what a number of family members do. Again, I love family just like everybody else. But it's not at the top of the pyramid. God's at the top of the pyramid. Now, again, going back to the children. It is funny how children don't want to pay to stay in their parents' house, but yet when children are told to do what they're supposed to do, they expect their parents to pay them. When do the children become the kings and queens of the house? Well, again, that happens because you got weak parents. A lot of these parents, in my opinion, are scared of their children. They are. They're afraid their children won't like them. No, your children aren't going to like you and respect you if you give them everything they want. Because when it comes to family, blood's thicker than water, right? Well, if it is thicker than water, why can't you do business with family? Now, I know you have some family businesses out here, but in the most case, when you start getting money involved with family, that love you have for one another, it disappears. Because now you're competing against each other. And you have families who've broken up over money. You've had friendships that have broken up over money. But when it comes to kids, you're a man out there, you're a woman out there, and you get some lazy individual who gets upset with you because you're teaching your kids responsibility, they're living in your house, using all your utilities, and you make them pay rent, you continue to make your kids pay rent. Because in the real world, they're going to have to pay rent, they're going to have to pay utilities, they're going to have to pay cable, they're going to have to pay for their own clothes. So you're teaching them what they need to know so they can live on their own. A lot of these, particularly mothers out there, don't make their children pay anything. And this is why their children love living at home. A lot of these children are adolescent adults. And it's because most of these mommies let them live at home. Now, occasionally you have some dads, but it's mostly moms that do that. I mean, mom and grandmother become a daycare. And this is why in that Tyler Perry movie, when Sanaa Lathan played that high-powered corporate manager, she says, you should be taking care of my child for free. No, you shouldn't. In fact, if my daughter would ask me, you're going to take care of my child while I go out partying, not having any of that. You're going to take your child with you when you go partying. And if you were to stay in my house, you're going to be paying some and doing some chores. You won't be on Facebook. You won't be on that cell phone all day. I'm going to crack that whip. I'm going to make it hard enough so you'll want to get out. And that's what adults should start doing. Your kids are going to respect you when you crack that whip on them. They're not going to respect you when you keep coddling them. And that's what's wrong with a number of kids today. They are coddled. Children aren't stupid, but they're coddled. They're not taught how to take care of themselves health-wise. That's why you have a number of young kids well overweight. A number of them have psychological problems, depression issues. They're on Ritalin. They have anger issues as well. Entitlement issues. They don't know how to deal with finances. They don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean. And I can see why some of these millennials don't want to get married. And all these children are brainwashed, again, by religion, education, media, private sector jobs, and government. And parents are too weak to go at those individuals. Why? Because the parents don't want to do anything. Because those institutions are basically parenting the kids. A lot of these parents didn't want the children to begin with. That's why they buy them everything they want, give them everything they want. Get the children out of their hair. A lot of these parents are selfish. And again, if you don't believe me, you look at some of your family members, you look at some of the individuals that are supposed to be your friends, you look at what they're doing, and you look at what you're doing. If you're doing the right thing and you get criticized by them, so be it. Because your children are going to understand what the real world is about. Now, these other children with no responsibility, all they're going to do, they're going to try to live off of people. You know why? Because that's what some of the parents did, and some of these parents didn't care to teach these children to understand what the real world is about. So when it comes to family, family is overrated and dysfunctional because of the parents. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. You can also comment, share, and subscribe to my other channel, The Mind of STEM. You can also listen to me every weekend on Blog Talk Radio, where I hit hard on the red pill issues as well. Also, when it comes to doing this video content, I'm not here to offend anybody. I'm just here preaching the truth. Because as a man, the truth will always set you free. And always have faith in God. And at the end of the day, your life will be better. And that's it for this video. Once again, my name is Leon Jones. I want you to have a wonderful and blessed afternoon. God bless you.